Never give up in the face of failure. A lesson from Jack Ma. In our journey through life, failure often seems like a dark cloud looming over our efforts, casting doubt on our abilities and shaking our confidence. It is one of the most uncomfortable experiences we encounter, and yet, it is also one of the most important. If we take a moment to look at the lives of the most successful individuals in the world, we will often find a trail of failures, rejections, and setbacks that led them to where they are today. Among these figures, Jack Ma, founder of Alibaba and one of the most influential entrepreneurs of the 21st century, offers a striking example of how resilience in the face of repeated failure can lead to extraordinary success. His story is a powerful reminder that failure is not the end, but merely a stepping stone on the path to greatness. It teaches us that if we truly believe in our vision and have the courage to persist, even the most insurmountable obstacles can be overcome. When we talk about failure, we often associate it with something shameful or embarrassing. From a young age, we are conditioned to avoid failure at all costs. We are praised for our successes and punished, often subtly, for our mistakes. This conditioning follows us into adulthood, making us risk-averse and hesitant to step outside our comfort zones. However, Jack Ma's life offers a radically different perspective. If you've ever felt that you've failed too many times to succeed, Jack Ma's early life will likely change your mind. He failed his university entrance exam twice. He was rejected from dozens of jobs, including a now famous rejection from KFC where he was the only applicant not hired out of 24 candidates. He even applied 10 times to Harvard and was turned down each time. At that point, many of us might have given up or resigned ourselves to a life of mediocrity. But Ma didn't. Instead of internalizing these failures as proof that he wasn't good enough, Jack Ma chose to see them as part of his learning process. He viewed each rejection not as a personal insult but as a sign that he needed to try something different. This mindset is critical for anyone striving to succeed in any field. Often, the biggest difference between success and failure is not talent, resources, or luck. It's the ability to keep going when things don't go your way. We live in a society that celebrates overnight success, but the truth is that real success is often built on a foundation of failure. Jack Ma didn't build Alibaba overnight. It took years of trial and error, of convincing others to believe in his vision, of facing ridicule and skepticism. Imagine how discouraging it must have been for him to start an internet company in the late 1990s in China, a country where few people even had access to the internet. People laughed at him. They thought he was crazy. Investors weren't interested and potential business partners were skeptical. But Ma believed in the future of e-commerce. He believed in the potential of the internet to connect buyers and sellers in a way that had never been done before in China. That belief, combined with his relentless determination, helped him keep moving forward. Even when the road was uncertain, even when the odds were stacked against him, he refused to give up. One of the most powerful examples of his resilience came during the early days of Alibaba. After launching the platform, the company faced serious financial challenges. In the year 2000, Alibaba was nearly bankrupt. The dot-com bubble was bursting and investors were pulling out of tech startups. Jack Ma had to make one of the most difficult decisions of his life: either shut down the company or find a way to survive. Rather than panic, he gathered his team and gave them a choice: to quit now and give up, or to stay and fight for what they believed in. Most of them stayed, inspired by his vision and leadership. They worked without pay for months. They sacrificed their time and energy, not because success was guaranteed, but because they shared Ma's belief in the company's mission. And eventually their perseverance paid off. Today, Alibaba is one of the largest e-commerce platforms in the world, and Jack Ma is celebrated not just for his wealth, but for the spirit he represents. His story reminds us that failure is not a verdict, it's a process. We often make the mistake of thinking that successful people never failed, when in fact they simply refuse to let failure define them. Jack Ma's philosophy is deeply rooted in this idea. He often says, "If you don't give up, you still have a chance. Giving up is the greatest failure." This simple yet profound statement captures the essence of what it means to be resilient. When we apply this lesson to our own lives, we begin to see that failure can be a powerful teacher. Whether you're starting a business, pursuing a career, learning a new skill, or building a relationship, you will inevitably face setbacks. There will be times when things don't go as planned, when people don't support you, or when you doubt your own abilities. In these moments, it's tempting to walk away, to conclude that it just wasn't meant to be. But if we want to grow, we have to learn to embrace failure, not as a punishment but as feedback. Every failure tells us something about what doesn't work, and in doing so, brings us one step closer to what does. Think about Thomas Edison, who famously said, "I have not failed." I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Or consider J.K. Rowling, who was rejected by multiple publishers before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. These stories, like Jack Ma's, illustrate a consistent truth. Failure is not the opposite of success, it is part of success. And it is our response to failure that determines our future. If we let it crush our spirit, we lose. But if we let it strengthen our resolve, we move forward. There is also a deeper, more personal element to not giving up. It's not just about achieving external success, it's about respecting ourselves enough to keep trying. When you refuse to give up, you're telling yourself that your dreams matter, that your efforts are valuable, that your goals are worth fighting for. You're cultivating a mindset that will serve you in every area of life. Persistence is not just a business strategy, it's a life philosophy. And Jack Ma embodies this philosophy in everything he does. In fact, one of the most inspiring aspects of Ma's story is how he continued to reinvent himself even after reaching the pinnacle of success. After stepping down from Alibaba, he focused on education, philanthropy, and supporting young entrepreneurs. He could have easily retired and enjoyed his wealth and comfort. But true to his nature, he kept looking for ways to grow, to contribute, and to make a difference. This shows us that perseverance is not just about enduring hardship. It's about maintaining a sense of purpose and direction, no matter where you are in life. As we navigate our own paths, we can take a page from Jack Ma's playbook. The next time you encounter failure, whether it's a rejected job application, a failed exam, a lost opportunity, or a personal setback, remind yourself that this is not the end of your story. We are all capable of more than we realize, but we will only discover that capacity if we keep moving forward. There will be days when you want to give up, when it feels like nothing is working. That's when you need to dig deep and remember why you started. That's when you need to trust that every step, even the difficult ones, is part of your journey. We live in an era of instant gratification, where people want quick results and immediate success. But real, meaningful accomplishments take time. They require patience, effort, and above all, resilience. If we want to achieve something truly worthwhile, we must be willing to stay the course, even when it's hard, even when we fail. Because it is through those failures that we grow stronger, wiser, and more capable. Let Jack Ma's story be a beacon for us. Let it remind us that no failure is final unless we decide to stop trying. If we have the courage to persist, to learn, and to adapt, we can overcome even the most daunting challenges. You may not become a billionaire or build a global empire, but you will become someone who does not back down in the face of adversity. And that, in itself, is a tremendous achievement. So, the next time you're standing at the crossroads of failure and perseverance, choose to keep going. Choose to believe in yourself even when others don't. Choose to see failure not as a dead end but as a detour, a necessary part of the road that leads to your goals. In doing so, you'll not only transform your own life but also inspire others to do the same. Because when we refuse to give up, we don't just change our destiny, we change the world around us.